All right. Well, welcome everyone to a lovely Thursday afternoon at the end of the month to Scanco's monthly Lunch and Learn webinar series. I'm Ross Allen, one of the senior account managers here at Scanco, and I'm joined today by our guest and good friend over at CoreChain, Tom Romery. And we try to make the whole point of these webinar series that we're doing, our Lunch and Learn monthly, is something topical and something that kind of goes along with the whole line of one of our product offerings, or leveraging what seems to be big talking point of the in current organizations or current supply chains, or in something with Sage or whatever's going on right now in the market. Right now, the biggest thing that you hear a lot of is supply chain chaos, supply chain chaos, supply chain chaos. Whether that's leveraging what's coming in goods, going out goods, having the funds to take care of those goods. I mean, there's quite a bit that we could leverage with that. So the whole point of today is to kind of offshoot of previous webinars. So just to kind of a quick recap, our last webinar highlighted our warehouse management system, multi-bin, on a higher level of what you could leverage with it, from allocation of goods to a lot of our other offerings that play into multi-bin. And one of those particular ones was on the water, which we wanted to do a webinar focused on that. And then under the whole umbrella of the family of Scanco Automation, we are now doing payment automation. So a good portion of this is going to be going over our new vendor payment automation, which kind of pairs up nicely with our vendor ordering, hence on the water. So Tom, if you're ready, we'll go ahead and get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, let's go. And thanks for having me, Ross. Really excited to talk about.
Pleasure. So today we're gonna focus on kind of four main areas of the agenda. Then we're gonna follow up with some questions at the end. There's no demo or anything today. Today's just straight informational, and then we can obviously, for demos or anything that's needed after the fact, we'll be reaching out to you to schedule those on an individual basis. So we're going to be covering today of Scanco's on the water, and what is that really, and how can you leverage it, and what does it do to your current purchase ordering system inside of Sage. And then we're going to be proudly introducing, we've been doing this on kind of a small one-off right now, but this is the first major introduction of our new Scanco AP payment automation. So we're going to be introducing Scanco Payments and how that is leveraged into Sage and works with your current Sage setup, how easy it is. It literally is easy as 1, 2, 3, and you'll find out how that goes. And then we're going to be talking about some supply chain finance at the very end. So on the water, what is it? So, I mean, it is basically container tracking of goods on the water. So how do we differentiate between what is on the water in your system and then physically on the water of goods coming in? So the main differentiator between goods that are ordered today, and this is really kind of goes into the central core purchasing of any vendor products within inside of Sage, right? And the main delineator is if you're a distributor or manufacturer that is tracking your goods that you own as soon as they leave your facilities overseas, then that is something you need to track on the water. If you don't take ownership of it, then it's probably not a really need for you. But majority of our customers that are ordering goods overseas, especially nowadays, take ownership of it as they go. And the problem is that they really have no tracking, so to speak. And I'm not talking about UPS or FedEx tracking numbers. I'm talking about tracking the goods inside of your Sage system to kind of know when they're going to arrive and when they're going to go. And the nice thing about implementing and adding on the water, which is basically an enhancement to multi-bin and our license plating, our warehouse automation system, is it is directly inside of Sage. It's a checkbox, basically. It does a lot more than that, though. You can actually allow your vendors that you order overseas, you can differentiate those vendors from your other vendors by calling them on the water vendors. And those vendors also allow you to figure out from when the purchase order is received, the average time that order is going to arrive in your facility, and the average number of days, and then averaging the cost of goods for that as well. So inventory management teams and within companies love this because they can now keep things separately. If you have multi-bin today, you know that the only way to do this or leverage it without having an on-the-water enhancement is to put things and goods in a separate on-the-water warehouse. And it kind of gets a bit cumbersome, especially if we have multiple containers you're tracking, or in this case, multiple purchase orders spread out across multiple containers. It used to be in the day, you ordered a purchase order, arrived in the container, it came on your dock. Now everything is such in chaos where back orders have run amok and you're trying to figure out where your goods are, that in most point, people will just take whatever they can get their hands on. So that purchase order might be spread across 6 or 7 months. And so where that does create chaos in the world of warehouse management It's even more chaotic in the accounting world. So, inventory managers love this, but consequently, who we, get the most cheers from is the accounting team, because, it's really difficult without having this to reconcile inbound goods against, purchase orders, lines of credit, as well as recording any additional costs, such as landed costs, and trying to differentiate those from on the water inventory versus what you actually have in stock. So some of the key highlights that On the Water does like to do is receive, it's basically a double receipt. The first receipt of goods brings it into your Sage system and keeps it in its own bin location, in its own, it can be in your same warehouse, but it puts it into a receipt of goods bin location that's separate from all your other goods. It tracks it as an On the Water bin location, and it will actually give you an estimated landed date of when that product's going to be. You can go off of estimated date and even change it if those dates do not align with what was originally promised. A big thing for the accounting side is it lets you keep it on a separate GL balance sheet. So you can run your inventory reconciliation reports and take out anything that's on the water and keep everything you physically have in stock in there, or the converse of it is run a report and look at just what is on the water. It lets you separate quantity on hand versus received. If you're trying to fulfill back orders for customers that you have back orders with you, you can automatically allocate those goods to those back orders. So as soon as that container arrives at your facility, once you offload it and receive it in stock, those goods are automatically put on those sales orders to fulfill and ship out. You can do container tracking. So actually you can palletize. If you're familiar with our Scanco license plating software, you can actually license plate those pallets, track the container IDs, and bring those in as well. So as soon as a container is received in, you can receive it in as either an entire container or the individual license plated pallets. It lets you evaluate inventory and stock status goods, so you know what's on the water versus what you're expecting to come in, and it'll let you estimate landed costs. Now, one of the nice features is there's estimated landed cost and actual. So estimated, we always estimate probably higher than it's going to be, but you might get surprised once in a while that the actual landed cost is much lower than what you originally attributed for. So it not only lets you retain an actual landed cost and adjust it, but also spread it out across multiple purchase orders. So for instance, if you have 3 containers coming in, they're all on different ships or different ways of transport, and that purchase order is spread across all 3, you could spread out that landed cost across all 3 receipts instead of just it being dumped onto one initial receipt. As I mentioned before, you can pre-book the SO allocations and adjust inventory receipt dates. And it's all on one screen. You don't have to go to multiple screens to do this. It's all in the multi-bin inventory screen. So I did bring up some examples of what that looks like. On the top left-hand corner, you'll see what the trial balance sheet looks like. So you can actually do a trial balance of what is on the water versus what is not. And then you'll notice at the bottom right-hand corner for my customers that use our multi-bin on a day-to-day basis, you'll recognize the regular multi-bin inventory dashboard. But one thing you will notice is a couple additional pieces to it. You'll notice a new checkbox that says on the water at the bottom there, as well as you'll see in one of the line items, the description is in red versus all the others. And that is what differentiates it between regular goods and an on the water good. You'll notice that it gives my projected receipt date. My purchase order number is the actual bin location temporarily that I've received it into, because it's an on the water bin now. And it will show you the type. So instead of a primary pick location or staging or replenishment bin, it's actually going to be an on the water and transit bin. And then it also will let you track the container ID that's associated with it as well. So the nice thing about it is now you can leverage the what's coming in and how you take care of it. Now that's a perfect segue. And once we've ordered it, great. Now how do we pay our vendors, and how do we leverage some payment automation to make sure our vendors are taken care of, and any additional financing needs that we might have as well to take care of future needs as well. So Tom, I'm going to turn it over to you, my friend.
Great. Hey, thanks, Ross. And that's a really exciting new feature, and it's really important, obviously, for how your customers can more efficiently run their business. And like Ross, I'm very excited about digital transformation and how to help you run your businesses more efficiently. So I'm Tom. I'm with Core Chain Technologies. We're the company behind Scanco AP Automation and Supply Chain Finance. And if you are a business owner or a CEO or a finance leader, on a daily basis, you address some big challenges and you also chase even bigger opportunities. You're thinking about growth, you're thinking about profitability, and about how to serve your biggest customers better. But very likely you and your finance team also have a number of concerns that get in the way of running your business, that might even be distractions. And yet there are legitimate concerns around how you manage your accounts payable today. Risk of fraud through paper checks, operational efficiency. How can you run AP more efficiently? How can you better control your supplier costs? Just difficulties in managing payables. And last, getting access to working capital when you need it, which is all very relevant to what Ross was just talking about. And the primary reason for that is really outdated AP processes that are built around a paper check ecosystem. And surprisingly, in North America today, of the 40 trillion that is spent between businesses, buyers, and suppliers every year, it's double the GDP, just the amount of money that's moving. The 65% of companies still use paper check, and it's become a big issue around fraud. So imagine, if you could, a better solution where you could mitigate all these concerns that many of you have and that your AP department has with a single, simple, automated AP solution that integrates with your Sage ERP. And that's what we're bringing out today and talking to you about, which is Scanco AP Automation built on Sage, where you can eliminate fraud, you can lower cost of operations, simplify how you manage your outbound payments, and take advantage of trade terms you might have with your suppliers by paying them early. If you have a 2% discount if you pay them in the first 15 days. So welcome to Scanco AP Automation for Sage. It's if you go to the next slide, Ross, it's a single, simple solution to manage AP digitally and to really get access to additional working capital, whether you're a buyer or a supplier or both. With Scanco AP Automation, we put you fully in control of your outbound payments, the amount, the timing, to which vendors, and it's all integrated into the Sage ERP and obviously into other Scanco applications. So the beauty is you can continue to use Sage if you do to initiate payments and manage payments as you normally do. And you can also use the Scanco AP Automation portal, which is what you're seeing here, which gives you one place to check on pending payments, look at prior payments, and run payments reports by vendor or any other way you want to slice them up. So the other really cool thing is, there's it also gives you access to, we'll talk about supply chain finance in a minute, but you can also access that. If you go back to the last slide there, Ross. Yeah, so there's three methods through which, all digitally, and this is a big reason we're driving digital transformation with Scanco, digitally through virtual cards or through ACH Plus. You're familiar with ACH. ACH Plus has additional security and ID verification. Virtual cards are encrypted, secure digital payments through a spend card, and then e-checks, which are digital checks and can be deposited in numerous ways, but one way is like a traditional check if your supplier wants to print it out and deposit it in their bank account. But we are, these are the three options that we're offering. And let's go into how easy it is to use, because one of the things that we set as an objective was to make payments easy button easy. Let's build with Scanco a cutting edge AP automation that makes it drop dead easy for their customers, where they don't have to really do anything different. So how easy it is, like I said earlier, the first thing is go into Sage and pay your invoice batches like you normally would with the Sage AP module. You don't have to change how you do that. It's synced directly to Scanco AP Automation. Second, this generates a payment instruction file via Sage. So what's interesting, these are ACH instruction files, but we convert them automatically to a cryptographically secured digital payment type, which is either through virtual card or ACH Plus or through e-checks, as I said. But the Sage system just generates the instruction file, which we then take and manage from there. as Scanco AP Automation. And then third, the payment files are uploaded to the Scanco AP Automation portal. And this is the single place you can go in and check on all pending and prior payments, and even dive into details and look at, even in a specific vendor, all of the different payments that have gone out, or across vendors on a specific date, what's going on. So the idea is to give business leaders and managers and finance people full control over their spend and full control over their cash flow. This gives you full control and visibility in a secure environment. Turning to supply chain finance, which is really interesting because the on the water feature I think is so compelling. When you have working capital tied up on the water, or working capital tied up in general, or you're in a fast growth business, or it's seasonal where you have to get ahead of your revenue and buy a number of goods, we feel that in today's more complicated supply chain finance and supply chain environment where supply chains are disrupted, having access to working capital is essential. And so we offer two types. Again, this is all part of Scanco AP Automation. One is a purchase order line of credit. If you have a purchase order with a company that you've been doing business with, and there's a history, you can get fast approval for an unsecured line of credit. There's no lien on your company. There's no UCC lien. It's an unsecured line of credit up to $1 million, just based on the fact that you have a history with the supplier and you have a PO in place. So that's exciting. That's in addition to your bank loan, and that might give you extra working capital during certain times of the year. It also might allow you to take advantage of trade terms. Like I said, if you had 2% net 15, you get a 2% discount. That 2% discount, if you can take advantage of all of those, equates to a 58% APR that you're saving. That's incredible. So that's a good use case for using the purchase order line of credit. On the supplier side, because most companies are both buyers and suppliers, but for your suppliers who you're paying, you can offer them a choice to get paid in advance of the time that you're obligated to pay them. So up to 120 days in advance, your suppliers can essentially accelerate their invoice through what we call a fast pay feature. You as a buyer, if you're also, let's say that you have a client that doesn't pay you for 90 days, you can take advantage of this too. It's just another way to get access to working capital. And again, it's an unsecured loan based on a history of spend between buyer and supplier. So exciting working capital solutions on top of a digitally transformative, secure payment solution that's solving real problems that we identified. And we invite you to learn more. Both Ross and I have talked to a number of Scanco clients who are actively signing up for this, and it's a new product. It just launched last month, and we're happy to make some time with you so that you can learn more. And with that, Ross, we'll open it up to Q&A.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thanks, Tom. And yeah, so like as Tom mentioned too, we're onboarding a lot of MVP customers right now. So whether you're a partner that's on the call today and you have some customers in mind, or you're a customer that's on the call today and you're interested, let us know. Just give us a call. There's my direct line information, an email address, and we'll get myself and Tom on a phone call with you, and we'll get things going. So we do have quite a few questions. So we like to keep, like I said, the lunch and learn 30 minutes or less. We're kind of nearing about that 20-minute marker. So we'll spend a few minutes on questions, and then we'll let you get about your way. So from the on the water perspective, a couple questions is, if I already have multi-bin down warehouse, how easy is it for me to implement on the water? Very simply, it's install file. We'll get things going and set up. There's a little bit of setup for it. I will say the one caveat to it is we just re-released it for Sage 2021.2. So if you're minimally on that, you're good to go. Which does lead me on to my next piece, that we are going to be re-releasing it for all new versions of Sage. So we're in compliancy right now. So that'll be 21.3 and then 2020.0. So be on the lookout for that as we announce it. But on the water, we just re-released it along with some of our other product lines. And the minimum version you have to be on for that again is 21.2. A couple questions for you, Tom. What if I'm already using my bank for ACH?
Yeah, great question. That's not a problem at all. Scanco AP Automation really gives you the full control to manage payments. And in fact, we can make the same ACH payments to suppliers instead of your bank, but your suppliers will have much better visibility to these payments compared to the ones processed by your bank. We automatically still pull through instructions to your bank. You don't have to change bank accounts. I mean, the funds ultimately come from your bank account, but we handle ACH no problem. And that's the foundation of ACH Plus, actually. So yeah, we can do that.
Awesome. Another one, we always get this a lot of, people are price conscious. So how much does it cost?
Yeah, and that's what's interesting. It costs nothing to use the software, nothing to implement, and nothing to run payments. So the question is, well, then how does anyone make money off this? Well, it's interesting. Using Scanco AP automation relative to paper checks, you'll actually save money because you avoid all the cost of all the processing, the internal processing costs of checks, and obviously postage. But just like at a grocery store or at Best Buy, your favorite restaurant, wherever it might be, it's the merchant or the supplier that pays the discount or the interchange. So depending on the payment type, the supplier is actually who's footing the bill. So as an AP manager, and you're paying your suppliers, you don't pay anything for it. The suppliers pay a discount, and that's pretty typical in industry, in B2B as well as obviously in the consumer world. But yeah, no cost to using the software or taking advantage of the all the benefits of AP automation.
Awesome. All right, we got several more, but we'll got time for one more, and then we'll go ahead and reach out to those individually and kind of have some one-on-ones with you as well.
Cool.
How do I leverage my suppliers or tell my suppliers about the system and work with them?
Yeah. So good news is that we manage end to end, bringing your suppliers on board. So we reach out to them. We also give you talking points because you're in conversations with your suppliers if they have questions for you. But between Ross and our team here at CoreChain and any of the customer success people at Scanco, we can walk them through the process if they have questions. But we manage it. We actually have outreach campaigns for your suppliers, and then we get on the phone with them and we convert them if they need to get on the phone. Most of it is pretty easy. I mean, it's pretty much push button and get onboarded as a supplier. But we help walk them through that so that they can now receive, if they've been receiving paper checks, now they can receive payment through an encrypted virtual card or through ACH Plus or eCheck. So yeah, that's how we do it. We take that off your hands.
Awesome.
We don't want any of Scanco's clients worrying about how to onboard their supplier to a new payment solution.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. So I always try to leave the webinars with an additional nugget. So do keep on the lookout for our May one. We got some exciting things coming up for May for our next webinar series. And then one thing that we did not cover today, because this is going to be, I'll drop the hint nugget and then it's going to be coming out later this year, is for those that have been in the channel a long time and have been a long time partner of Scanco's, you're familiar with Purchase Agent. Yes, Purchase Agent, it's the old tried but true software that we've had for a long time. We're going to be reinventing it along with payment automation. So be on the lookout for that. Once we do a full release, you're going to see all about all the cool stuff we're going to be doing with that product as well. So it is still around and it's going to be completely overhauled to leverage exactly what we kind of covered today. So again, thank you so much for joining. We appreciate your time. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. We'll talk soon.